This is the Radio Realtors.
I sold the house.
This is a home. This is a place to live. This is a place to live.
Northern California's longest running show on real estate.
Real estate is not just buying and selling houses.
What are you, some kind of real estate agent? Real estate agent?
I love real estate.
Ever since I laid eyes on that house, I wanted it.
The Radio Realtors.
I love every second.
Now, here's your host, Robert Lewis with eXp Realty.
Let's go and sell some homes.
Hello there. You're tuned in to the Radio Realtors, Northern California's #1 real estate radio show, coming to you from the EquityProtect.com studios. And you've worked hard to build your equity in your home, but did you know that criminals can steal it without you even knowing? Sophisticated thieves, they create fake paperwork, place fraudulent liens on homes, and even foreclose, stealing your equity and leaving you with nothing. And most services only monitor your title, alerting you after the damage is done. And if you just want monitoring, well, Equity Protect, my friends there, will do it for free. But if you want real protection, you need Equity Protect's full protection. They literally prevent criminals from accessing your title so they can't steal what you've worked a lifetime to build. Get protected now. Just go to their website. It's so easy. It's equityprotect.com, or you can call their phone number and they'll talk to you right there on the line there, 888-213-2959. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit equityprotect.com or call now to secure your home's title today. And we've got a great show for you today with the following topics. Number one, the price is still right. Busting the biggest myths about today's housing market on both the buying and the selling side. And number two, what every senior needs to know about moving and Medicare and Social Security with my friend Joe Flores. He is the host of the Joe Knows Medicare show here on AM1380 as well. And also he is the owner of Flores and Associates Insurance. So once again, welcome to the show, the Radio Realtors. I am your host, Robert Lewis, your real estate professor with eXp Realty. Today we're tackling a hot topic and clearing up the fog with some real estate myth busting. It's time for The Price is Still Right, busting the biggest myths about today's housing market. So myth number one is you need 20% down to buy a home. So this is for you buyers. And let's just bust this one myth wide open. The idea that you need 20% down to purchase a home is simply not true for most buyers today. And I don't understand, but this myth holds back more potential homeowners than you can imagine. And the truth is, there are a variety of loan programs out there designed to make home ownership more accessible. You can buy a home with as little as 3% down with a conventional loan. FHA loans offer options with 3.5% down. And if you're a veteran or active duty military person, VA loans allow for 0% down. That means you don't need to be sitting on $100,000 in savings to make your dream a reality. I recently helped a first-time buyer, a teacher in Rancho Cordova, and she secured a charming 3-bedroom condo with just $4,500 out of pocket. And she was previously renting for right around $3,000 a month. Well, her new mortgage is $2,746 a month. And instead of paying someone else's mortgage now, she's building equity. So before you decide you can't buy, talk to a knowledgeable lender, and you may qualify for one of the many down payment assistance programs or grants. And don't self-qualify yourself. That was kind of redundant, but don't self-qualify. Reach out to me and I'll connect you with one of the best lenders in the business. You can reach me at 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Now, myth number two is home prices are crashing, so why not just wait it out? Well, this one is a biggie, and it's rooted in the fear that we're heading into another housing crash like we did in 2008. But today's market is fundamentally different. Home prices in Northern California are certainly not crashing. I mean, we're seeing some moderation, but not collapse. And while it's true that prices have softened in some markets, most declines are modest. Think like 2% to 4%. Not 20%. So why is this different from 2008? Number one, we have tighter lending standards, which means buyers are more qualified than ever before. Number two, there's no oversupply. In fact, inventory is still incredibly low in a lot of areas. And number three is homeowners have more equity than ever before. Back in 2008, there were a lot of people with pick-a-pay loans and neg-am loans and all these different things. And when the market started to crash, people maybe owed $600,000 on their home. Well, then all of a sudden their home is only worth $400,000. We're not seeing that right now. Let's give you a snapshot for April of this year in the greater Sacramento area. So the median home price in Sacramento or greater Sacramento is $550,000. That's down 2% year over year. Inventory is sitting right around 1.7 months, and a balanced market is 5 to 6 months, folks. And then the days on the market, 36 days on the market on average right now. So waiting for a crash is like waiting for a unicorn, right? I mean, we'd all love to see one. My understanding is that there are even mentions of unicorns in the Bible, but I haven't seen a unicorn very recently at all, unless it was on a little girl's backpack or something like that. I have not seen a horse with wings or pigs flying or anything like that. So by the time prices drop significantly, if they ever do, you're going to be competing with every other buyer who was also waiting, which is going to drive prices right back up. So don't wait for the mythical market bottom. Buy when you're financially ready and focus on affordability and long-term value, not short-term timing, okay? Now, myth number 3 is selling a home in 2025 is a nightmare. You know, many sellers are kind of paralyzed right now. They're hearing horror stories of homes sitting for months and months and months, price drops, and 0 offers. But that's only one side of the story, and that's really like a nationwide story. Sure, there are areas that have that going on, right? Homes that are strategically priced, though, prepared properly, and marketed professionally are still selling and often getting results. And it's not a nightmare. It's just more of a normal market than the frenzy we saw during 2020 through 2022. We recently listed a gorgeous home in Sacramento, and it was in a gated community, and it had a pool, it had RV access. I mean, this area is a true lifestyle type of property, type of area. And despite great showings that we were having, we weren't getting offers. So what did we do? Well, we reassessed our pricing relative to the competition that was coming on the market. We made some small tweaks to the marketing, and things are going better now, and I feel like we're just days away from getting that offer. But that's not panic. That is called professionalism, folks. And you can sell in today's market, but you shouldn't go it alone. So don't rely on outdated strategies. Call me and let's build a modern selling plan. Now, myth number 4 is interest rates are just too high to buy, right? Interest rates are the big headline grabbers right now. Yes, they're higher than they were in 2020, but guess what? The market was an anomaly back then, not the baseline. Today's rates are in the 6 to 7% range. Historically, that's still reasonable, and higher rates have brought a silver lining. What, Rob? A silver lining? There's no silver lining. Yes, there is. It's less competition. And that means buyers, you guys have more leverage than you've had in years. You know, one buyer I helped in Lincoln secured a $30,000 price reduction and $10,000 in seller credits. And that would have been unthinkable when rates were 3% and bidding wars were the norm. And the term marry the house, date the rate, it's more than just a slogan. It's a strategy, and you can always refinance later when rates do go down. But what if you wait and prices go up? Well, that increase is permanent. So talk to a lender about monthly payments, explore creative financing, consider adjustable rate mortgages. Yes, those can be good in some cases, but you got to be strategic about them. 2-1 buy downs or seller rate buy downs are another option to lower your initial payment. Now, you're listening to the Radio Realtors with Robert Lewis, and you can get a hold of me at 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Or you can live chat with my team at radiorealtors.com. That's radiorealtors.com. And when we return, we're going to bust 3 more real estate myths that you can't afford to believe. Stay tuned. Hey folks, it's Robert Lewis here with the Radio Realtors, and when it comes to home loans, there's one guy who knocks it out of the park every time, and that's Jeff Compton with Guild Mortgage. Jeff's not just your average mortgage guy. He's a certified mortgage planner with over $1 billion in funded loans since 1990. Whether you're a first-time buyer stepping up to the plate, refinancing for a better rate, or investing in your next property, Jeff's got the game plan. He's Sacramento born and raised, and like any good coach, he puts your goals first with honesty, integrity, and the hustle to get your loan closed. So if you want a mortgage pro who plays hardball for you, call Jeff Compton at Guild Mortgage today at 916-765-2900 or visit him online at jeffcompton.com. This guy's got a passion for helping clients and a batting average you can trust. Tell him Robert Lewis sent you, because in this market, you need a heavy hitter on your team. That's 916-765-2900 or jeffcompton.com, NMLS ID number 298997.
After a long week, you finally got some time to yourself. Shouldn't you spend that time having some fun rather than attacking that DIY list? We think so. That's why we recommend Purpose Property Solutions. They're the ultimate affordable handyman service. They do junk removal, hauling, handyman electric, plumbing, interior and exterior home repairs, painting, tree removal, and so much more. Call Purpose Property Solutions today at 916-798-7705. Get your weekend back. Call 916-798-7705.
Hi, Larry Elder here, and you've heard me say that success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. And with the recent NAR settlement, selling a home is more complicated than ever before. And that's why if you need to sell, you have to be prepared and hire a hard-working realtor. You also need a tough negotiator to help you net the most money possible. My recommendation? Call my friend Robert Lewis with eXp Realty. Check this out. Angie had to sell her home in Rancho Cordova and moved to Colorado for work. She needed her home sold quickly to buy her next home. And because Rob spends thousands of dollars on marketing each month, he has a pool of buyers that are ready to buy. Rob sold Angie's home in just 19 days for the full list price. Rob referred her to an agent in Colorado through his nationwide network of realtors and helped her negotiate a great deal on a home there too. Sell your home today for top dollar. Call Rob with eXp Realty at 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32 Radio. Online at radiorealtors.com. DRE number 0140625.
Rob here, reminding you that you can hear all of our shows on the Radio Realtors podcast through Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Pandora, and more. Please give the Radio Realtors podcast a 5-star review and share the link with your friends. Access it now at radiorealtors.com.
Welcome back to the Radio Realtors with Robert Lewis from eXp Realty. If you'd like to talk to Robert directly, call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. And now, here's Robert.
All right, welcome back to the Radio Realtors, Northern California's #1 real estate radio show. We are coming to you from the EquityProtect.com studios here in Sacramento. And you know what? Home title theft is real, and it's on the rise, and criminals forge documents. They steal your title, take out loans against your home without you even knowing. And most services out there only monitor your title, and then they alert you after the fraud has happened. But Equity Protect is totally different. They prevent title fraud before it can happen, locking down your home's title with bank-level security. And Equity Protect has patented title lock technology. You got to think of it like putting a deadbolt on your home's title. Nobody can access it without your direct approval. Get protected now at 888-213-2959. That's 888-213-2959. Or go to equityprotect.com today, and please tell them that the Radio Realtors sent you. And once again, my name is Robert Lewis, your real estate professor, and we are talking about busting some myths today. The biggest myths about today's housing market. I'm going to recap the first couple for you. Myth number one is you need 20% down to buy a home. And you know what? I can't believe this one is still around, but I did a poll and this one was the number one for buyers. And I just don't understand it. I've talked about this numerous times. Not that everybody's listening to what I have to say, right? But a lot of people are talking about this and it still remains out there, especially with first-time buyers, not with move-up buyers or downsizing buyers or whatever. But for the most part, it's first-time buyers that still believe this. And so obviously, we have not been doing a good enough job as realtors telling you about the options here. Well, you can buy a home for as little as 3% down with conventional loans, 3.5% down with FHA, and even like with VA and USDA, you can do 0% down, and then there's down payment assistance programs. So if you're interested in finding out how you qualify and what you qualify for, just give me a call and we can possibly get you pre-approved today. 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Myth number two is home prices are crashing, so you might as well just wait it out. Folks, it's not 2008. And 2025, we've got tighter lending standards, which means buyers are more qualified. There's no oversupply. Inventory is still pretty low out there, and homeowners have more equity than they ever have before. So waiting on the crash is like waiting for a unicorn to show up in your yard. And if you find one, let me know. Now, myth number three is selling a home in 2025 is a nightmare. Well, I guess it depends on, whether you see the cup half empty or half full. But many sellers, we'll just admit it, are kind of paralyzed right now. And they're hearing horror stories of homes sitting for months and months and months on the MLS, right? And maybe they're doing price drops. Maybe they've had zero offers. In our area of the greater Sacramento area in Northern California, we're not seeing that, but we are seeing longer days on market. It's more of a normal market than a frenzy that we saw in 2020 to 2022. You still can sell in today's market, but you can't go alone and you need an absolute amazing strategy. Give me a call, 833-32-RADIO, and I'll talk you through our marketing strategy. Now, myth number four is interest rates are too high to buy. Interest rates are the big headline grabbers, like we said earlier in last segment. They're higher than they were in 2020, but guess what? The market, it was kind of a unicorn market, if I'm being honest. It was not normal. It was an anomaly, right? Historically, we're in the 6 to 7% range, and that is still reasonable, right? So marry the house, date the rate. I don't really like that term, but it does work in today's market because once those rates do go down, and they will, you're in a position where you could refinance. But if you're buying when the rates go down, there's a very good chance that you're going to be in a bidding war and you're going to pay more for the property. Now, let's go to the next myth. It's myth number 5, and it's you can sell as is and still get top dollar. Now, I'm all for a good fixer-upper project, but if you're expecting to get top dollar for a home that hasn't seen maybe a paintbrush or a mop in a decade, you're just dreaming, right? Buyers today want move-in ready homes. The HGTV effect is a real thing, folks. They expect clean lines, neutral paint, updated fixtures, and modern features, or they want a discount in a lot of cases. And we advise a seller in Orangevale to invest about $7,500 in light upgrades, interior paint, new lighting, and some fresh landscaping. And that $7,500 returned $35,000 at the closing table. Folks, that's a 466% ROI. So before you list, bring me in for a pre-listing walkthrough. I'll tell you what you can skip and what you have to fix. And you don't have to remodel the kitchen. Sometimes decluttering and lighting can do the trick. I recently listed a home, and, the home was amazing, but it was kind of sparse. And so we got it professionally staged, and it feels like a model home. Okay. Now, myth number 6 is open houses don't work anymore. We live in a digital world, but that doesn't mean open houses are dead, right? In fact, they're a vital piece of a smart selling strategy. Open houses still attract serious buyers, curious neighbors who will tell their friends, and passerby who didn't even know your home was on the market. And the key is doing open houses correctly. We promote through social media, email marketing, text marketing, signs, and local groups. And we create an atmosphere that feels like a lifestyle event, not a boring walkthrough, right? Think music, sometimes snacks and charcuterie, maybe a little bit of mimosas, brochures, good flyers, and then flyers for other homes in different areas, and then a customized market analysis that shows other homes on the market. Recently, we had a home listed. We called it Radiant in Roseville, but we had 27 groups walk through that home in one weekend, and multiple offers came in by Monday. And that's the power of live engagement. So insist your agents do more than just stick a sign in the front yard and pray, which, I pray over all my listings anyway, but just sticking a sign in the front yard and just praying that it sells is not a strategy. It is a prayer and it is a hope, right? You want marketing, you want follow-up, and somebody who actually shows up and sells the story of your home. Now, myth number 7 is you don't need an agent because you've got Zillow. Well, Zillow is great for scrolling, but don't confuse browsing with buying. Zillow doesn't know your goals, doesn't know your budget nuances, or how to write a winning offer. An experienced realtor helps you by interpreting the market data, navigating inspections and contingencies, negotiating on your behalf, avoiding costly mistakes, and helps you handle legal documentation. I have a transaction coordinator named Debbie, and she is like my bulletproof vest, right? Because she keeps everything shipshape and airtight. She's like a tank. She just can take care of everything for me. And with the NAR commission settlement, the landscape is kind of changing, right? In some cases, buyers may now be responsible for paying their own agents. I've only seen that once so far since the August change, but it's really more important than ever before that you choose a realtor who brings real value to real estate, right? So don't go it alone. Whether you're buying or selling, partner with someone who can advocate for you, guide you, and get you results. And here's a hint. I know a guy. His name is Robert Lewis. You can call him at 833-32-RADIO. So let's recap. You don't need 20% down. The market isn't crashing. Sellers can win with the right plan, but sometimes you got to make adjustments. Even when everything seems to be going right, you sometimes have to make an adjustment. Rates aren't stopping smart buyers, folks. Minor upgrades can make major impacts. Open houses, they still deliver, in my opinion. And the right agent makes all the difference. And real estate in the year 2025 is about strategy, not panic, folks. It's not about panic. So if you're looking to buy or sell in Northern California, I want to help you win. Call me, Robert Lewis, your real estate professor, at 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO, or live chat with my team at RadioRealtors.com. That's RadioRealtors.com. So thanks for tuning in to the Radio Realtors with me, Robert Lewis, your real estate professor. The myths are busted there, and the path forward is clear. And don't go anywhere. I've got my good friend Joe Flores coming in next, right here on the Radio Realtors. Call me, 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO, or live chat with a member of my team at RadioRealtors.com. That's RadioRealtors.com. Back after this. Hey, it's Robert Lewis with the Radio Realtors and eXp Realty, and last week I toured a beautiful home, but the carpets smelled like a wet dog. They hadn't been cleaned in years, and that's like never washing your pup. Gross, right? Well, that's why I recommend Zero Res Sacramento. Their patented ZR water lifts out dirt without harsh chemicals and dries super fast with a 3,000-pound vacuum parked right outside your door. Right now, take advantage of the May Mayhem Special, 3 rooms clean for just $139, plus 10% off tile, rugs, and more. Call 916-245-2992 or visit them at ZeroResSacramento.com and ask for the Answer Special. Spell it forward or backward, it spells the same, Zero Res.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but you need to vacate this home.
Why, officer? I own this home free and clear. I lived here for 40 years.
Well, unfortunately, this paperwork says otherwise.
But I have nowhere else to go.
I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am.
This story is becoming all too common in the U.S. Scammers are preying on people with high equity or who own their homes free and clear of a mortgage. Only one company completely protects you. That's Equity Protect. Get your free risk report by texting the word HOME to 94878. Again, text the word HOME to 94878 to get your free risk report from Equity Protect. Hey friends, it's Robert Lewis with the Radio Realtors and eXp Realty, and guess what? Mother's Day is tomorrow. Now, before you panic buy a bouquet or overpay for brunch, let me ask you this. What if this year you gave your mom or your wife, who's an amazing mom, something that really means something? Not necessarily a brand new home, but the strategy to make that dream a reality. Whether it's your mom who's ready to downsize or your wife who's dreaming of a bigger place for the kids to run wild, starting the conversation now could be the most thoughtful gift of all. I'll walk you through it step by step, the budget, the timing, the options, everything you need to be ready when the right opportunity shows up. Call me today at 833-32-RADIO or visit radiorealtors.com. That's 833-32-RADIO. This Mother's Day, skip the temporary and give her a real future plan. I'm Robert Lewis with eXp Realty, DRE number 0140-6275. Happy Mother's Day. Rob here, reminding you that you can hear all of our shows on the Radio Realtors podcast through Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Pandora, and more. Please give the Radio Realtors podcast a 5-star review and share the link with your friends. Access it now at radiorealtors.com.
Welcome back to the Radio Realtors with Robert Lewis from eXp Realty. If you'd like to talk to Robert directly, call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. And now, here's Robert.
All right, welcome back to the Radio Realtors, Northern California's #1 real estate radio show, proudly coming to you from the EquityProtect.com studios. And if you own your home free and clear, or you have a lot of equity, you owe it to yourself to protect that equity and to protect your title by signing up for Equity Protect. You can sign up for just pennies a day at their website. It's EquityProtect.com. That is EquityProtect.com. I'm Robert Lewis, your real estate professor, and this segment is jam-packed with value, especially if you're a senior or you have parents or loved ones who are planning a move during retirement. Because joining me in the studio is one of the most trusted names in Medicare and senior benefits, and he's host of the Joe Knows Medicare radio show, airing every Sunday on AM1380 The Answer at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. and again at 1 to 2 p.m. And that's right here on AM1380 The Answer. It's my friend Joe Flores from Flores and Associates Insurance Services. Joe, welcome to the Radio Realtors.
All right, right on, Rob. Thank you for inviting me to be with you today. And hello, everyone.
I always love having you on because it's always fun. We have a great time. So, Joe, this segment I've wanted to do for a while because so many of our clients, over, I'd say 62, 63, 65, are relocating to be closer to grandkids or moving into retirement communities, but they don't always realize that when you move, your Medicare prescription coverage and even your Social Security in some cases can be affected. So today I want to break down all that stuff and what every senior needs to know about moving and Medicare and Social Security. So I want you to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Can you do that?
Or the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. The 1, 2, 3s and the ABCs, right?
Right.
So I guess my first question is, does moving to a new county or zip code affect your Medicare coverage?
It may. For example, if you are over 65, you usually have Medicare by that point, or under 65, you have a disability. So you have your Medicare and you move to a new service area, you can either change your current Medicare Advantage plan called Part C.
Okay.
And that varies county by county, actually more zip code driven. And I can evaluate the plans offered in your new area, also doctors and pharmacies. I could do that research. But the other side of Medicare is called the Medicare Supplement. And if you currently do not have a Medicare Supplement, which allows self-referrals It's a higher premium, but you're able to self-refer to doctors in and out of the area. Sometimes you can't get a Medicare supplement due to medical questions or underwriting. So the point is that if you are moving out of your current service area, you are now guaranteed issue for a Medicare supplement. So Rob, you have your choice of plan. You can go either Medicare Advantage or Medicare supplement because of the change in residence.
And when you move, that often qualifies you for that special enrollment period, right? So what exactly is that special enrollment period? What is that?
For special enrollment period, this is for Medicare Advantage. You can change from one plan to the next. You might have a new premium, new set of benefits, new doctor, because you're changing your service area. It's really complicated. It goes, Medicare Advantage is like county by county. So then with Medicare supplements, you can pick a plan G, and that has a deductible of $257 per year and the ability to self-refer to doctors in and out of the area. So for some people, that's a stronger plan. You know, God forbid if you're facing a pre-existing condition, you're on chemotherapy or radiation, or you have a lot of medical equipment and you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, it might be better for you to be on a Medicare supplement plan, even though you're paying a higher premium. It depends on your health history, what's going on, but you're guaranteed issue for that Medicare supplement because you have a new residence. You're in a new service area.
Yeah. So the thing is that special enrollment, window gives you a chance to switch plans based on your new area. But if you miss it, you could be stuck with a plan that doesn't work as well for you. So,
yeah, I mean, in my job, I identify enrollment periods and then exceptions to the general rule. For example, if you are on a Medicare Advantage plan for the very first time, either you turned 65, pick Medicare Advantage, or maybe you left a Medicare supplement and you went to Medicare Advantage. Medicare gives you a year. It's called a trial period. You try out Medicare Advantage. Then within the first 12 months, you can go over to Medicare supplement without any medical questions, right? So if you move, if you're in a trial period, or maybe your Medicare Advantage plan is leaving the area, which happened last year. A lot of plans left, or they increase the premium, which happened last year. So it depends on the company, but usually it's about a 15% increase. You are then qualified for a Medicare supplement plan. Those are just a couple of exceptions to the general rule for underwriting or medical questions for a Medicare supplement plan.
Got it. So what happens if someone does forget to change their Medicare plan after moving?
Well, after moving, a lot of times they find out the facts of at the doctor's office that, you moved and we sent you a letter, and now you've been disenrolled, right?
So you don't have coverage at all.
Yeah, you just have basic Medicare. You don't have additional coverage beyond Medicare. And unfortunately, that does happen. You didn't get the letter in time, or maybe they're sending it to the old address and you didn't get the notice in the new address. It happens, where you have 60 days after you move to pick a new plan because you're now out of the service area. So it's important to have an agent, not only for your initial transaction when you're new to Medicare, but an ongoing relationship with an agent to help you during situations like this.
So what is your phone number?
916-396-4111. An easier way, because people might be driving or can't write it down, but it's joeknowsmedicare.com. joeknowsmedicare.com.
Cool deal. Yeah. So we're talking to Joe Flores. He is the owner of Flores and Associates Insurance, and he's also the host of Joe Knows Medicare right here on AM1380 The Answer, the same station that we broadcast on, the Radio Realtors. Now, Joe, what if someone only has that original Medicare? Does moving still matter at all, or?
Yeah, they can pick up a new plan, whether it's Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement when they move. So we'll find out what's going on. Most people already have some type of plan beyond original Medicare. Maybe if you're moving, there's all these circumstances. Maybe you're moving in because you just retired.
Okay.
Right? That's, people are downsized or kind of a new stage in life. There's exceptions all over, so maybe you don't have your Part B and you need to activate it. So I help people every day with that, activating your Part B of Medicare after retiring, or you lose your coverage at work. Or some people are low income and they can get Medi-Cal to help pay for Part B of Medicare. So there's different circumstances. Another category too, veterans. Now you can have VA coverage through the Veteran Administration, and then you can have separate insurance on your own, separate. They don't talk to each other. And a lot of people do that for Medicare Advantage, and they get the extra perks, the gym membership, glasses, dental, whatever the plan's offering in your area. So you can have veteran coverage and private insurance through Medicare Advantage for our veteran folks out there.
Very cool. Now, could you stay on for one more segment for me? Cool. So we need to go to break, but if you're a senior out there and you're thinking, I'm going to get ready to move, and you need help, obviously, selling your home, well, we are here for you here at eXp Realty, Robert Lewis Real Estate Group, with the Radio Realtors that you hear every weekend on AM1380 The Answer. Before you do that, before you kind of get that in motion, you need to talk about your Medicare benefits and maybe even your Social Security. So Joe is the guy, and we work tandem on these things, and we can help you both together. In fact, we could meet with you at the same time if you wanted. But give us a call. 833-32-RADIO is the Radio Realtors hotline number. That's 833-32-RADIO. And don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. Hey folks, it's Robert Lewis here with the Radio Realtors, and when it comes to home loans, there's one guy who knocks it out of the park every time, and that's Jeff Compton with Guild Mortgage. Jeff's not just your average mortgage guy. He's a certified mortgage planner with over $1 billion in funded loans since 1990. Whether you're a first-time buyer stepping up to the plate, refinancing for a better rate, or investing in your next property, Jeff's got the game plan. He's Sacramento born and raised, and like any good coach, he puts your goals first with honesty, integrity, and the hustle to get your loan closed. So if you want a mortgage pro who plays hardball for you, call Jeff Compton at Guild Mortgage today at 916-765-2900 or visit him online at jeffcompton.com. This guy's got a passion for helping clients and a batting average you can trust. Tell him Robert Lewis sent you, because in this market, you need a heavy hitter on your team. That's 916-765-2900 or jeffcompton.com, NMLS ID number 298997.
After a long week, you finally got some time to yourself. Shouldn't you spend that time having some fun rather than attacking that DIY list? We think so. That's why we recommend Purpose Property Solutions. They're the ultimate affordable handyman service. They do junk removal, hauling, handyman electric, plumbing, interior and exterior home repairs, painting, tree removal, and so much more. Call Purpose Property Solutions today at 916-798-7705. Get your weekend back. Call 916-798-7705.
Hi, Larry Elder here, and you've heard me say that success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. And with the recent NAR settlement, selling a home is more complicated than ever before. And that's why if you need to sell, you have to be prepared and hire a hard-working realtor. You also need a tough negotiator to help you net the most money possible. My recommendation? Call my friend Robert Lewis with eXp Realty. Check this out. Angie had to sell her home in Rancho Cordova and moved to Colorado for work. She needed her home sold quickly to buy her next home. And because Rob spends thousands of dollars on marketing each month, he has a pool of buyers that are ready to buy. Rob sold Angie's home in just 19 days for the full list price. Rob referred her to an agent in Colorado through his nationwide network of realtors and helped her negotiate a great deal on a home there too. Sell your home today for top dollar. Call Rob with eXp Realty at 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Online at radiorealtors.com. DRE number 014-06275.
Welcome back to the Radio Realtors with Robert Lewis from eXp Realty. If you'd like to talk to Robert directly, call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. And now, here's Robert.
All right, welcome back to the Radio Realtors. We are Northern California's #1 real estate radio show, proudly coming to you from the EquityProtect.com studios. And title theft, equity fraud, equity theft are all real things, folks. And you see it in the news, hear it on the radio, see it on TV. It is happening everywhere. And a lot of people think that that's just not going to happen to them, and then it does. And so there's only one company that completely prevents that crime from happening to you, and that is Equity Protect. You can get your free risk assessment at their website, equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com. Please tell them that the Radio Realtors sent you. My name is Robert Lewis, your real estate professor, and we're continuing the conversation in this last segment of the Radio Realtors with Joe Flores. He is the owner of Flores and Associates Insurance and also the proud host of Joe Knows Medicare. Hey, thanks for continuing the conversation with me, Joe.
Oh, this is great, Rob. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I got a couple questions. I mean, we've been covering, a lot of people don't know that if you move and you're on Medicare, that you may have some changes or maybe some of the coverage doesn't apply to the place that you're moving. So I guess the question is, do Medicare benefits or costs change based on where you live?
Yeah, like I'll give you an example. I had a client from Sacramento, and she moved up the hills. She moved up to Nevada County, Grass Valley area. Mm-hmm. And the premium changed. It went from zero premium to about $99 a month.
Well, that's that's like $1,200 a year.
Yeah, she had no idea. I mean, it's $100, right? And it makes a difference. They're on fixed income, and so she had no idea that she had to change plans, right? And it was now going to be $100. I had another client also from. What's up with Carmichael? Carmichael moved over to El Dorado Hills. Okay, and El Dorado is a different county.
It's El Dorado County.
El Dorado County, right? So different plans and different premium. Mm-hmm. And luckily I found her doctor, but it's a whole new set of benefits. Now, a lot of the benefits I have are on my computer, right? But there was a time that I was driving around with all these paper kits in my car, boxes, because, different counties, Yolo, Sacramento, Placer. And so I had like a whole storage in my car, and I'd ride around in my car with these kits. So now mainly the enrollments are over the phone, online. And occasionally I do meet with a client at their home or in my office, which I have an office in Roseville, but it's not every day.
Right.
So I was a road warrior for like over 25 years.
So you're just driving around with a bunch of paper in your car.
A bunch of paper weighing down my car and the gas, eating up the gas.
Now, was that in your trunk or was it just in the back seat?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. That's funny. Yeah. I remember one time years ago, I was working with a realtor and he said, well, just fax it to me. And I'm like, well, fax it. And this was when we were doing faxes, right? So it was a while back. I go, you're not at your office. And he goes, I got a fax machine in my car. He literally in the back of his Cadillac had a fax machine in his car that I could fax to. And it was attached to the phone in his car. It was crazy. So we don't see that very much anymore. So how far in advance should someone call you before moving if they have Medicare, if they're on Medicare?
Yeah, if they're moving a couple months before or earlier. That way you're not surprised, right? You have an idea of the premiums and benefits and help you find a doctor. And then once we find a plan, then I'll look up your prescriptions and provide a prescription report through Medicare.gov. I'm able to print out these reports. So I would say a couple months before you move.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so once again, Joe's number is 916-396-4111, or you can go to joeknowsmedicare.com to schedule an appointment or find out more information. Now, Joe, can you change your Medicare plan before the move takes place, or do you have to wait till after you've moved?
You can do the month of.
Okay.
Yeah, the month of, and up to 60 days after. And I want to point out, too, it's not just for Medicare, it's also covered California. So if they're under age 65 and they're moving, I'll take a look at what's available through your Covered California or directly with an insurance company. But I always give Covered California a shot because you'll be surprised. There's a lot of subsidies available and you might be higher income, but we're looking at the new zip code and the household size of your tax family. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people get, a really rich program, zero deductible and lower premiums that you're paying. So it's always worth taking a look at it when you move. But also every November, you can look at your Covered California plan.
Very cool. So what's the biggest mistake you think that seniors make when it comes to moving in Medicare?
You know what the biggest mistake, I've come across this quite a bit, is, your family or your neighbors might mean well. Okay, they love you. Okay. I have an appreciation of that, but they're giving bad info. I think that's the number one thing to be aware of. If they have a plan and they say, Rob, this is the plan, I love it. Well, the circumstances change person by person, even husband and wife, health situation, prescriptions, budget, doctor preference. It changes person to person. So like I said, a person might mean well, but I wouldn't listen to your, maybe listen to them at first, but call me or another Medicare professional, insurance professional, just to make sure things are in order. And I think that's the biggest thing. It happens every day. I caught this on Facebook or next door neighbor. I had one today, like assisted living, and the manager was saying, oh, you need to have this plan, but they didn't consider the premium or the doctor availability. So it was like, okay, it was like 2 strikes there. And I don't know if she hit strike 3, but I got up to strike 2 for sure, where it's like good intentions, but just bad info. So I think that's the number one concern is like what you're getting info, but also the lack of information. Right. What you don't know, or like, oh, I could change. I didn't know I can change. There's exceptions to weather conditions of all things, for Medicare. If you're not happy with your current Medicare Advantage plan, contact me. You may qualify for a weather condition enrollment period in every county in California. So you don't have to move. You may qualify due to weather conditions, tropical storm threats, or there's one for homelessness. And of all things, there's one for the bird flu. I don't make this up, everyone. Okay. Right. But there are exceptions to the general rule, and I'll look to see if you qualify for an exception to change your Medicare Advantage plan.
Very cool. So what about Social Security? I heard that you now help with that as well. Tell us about that.
Yes, I should have done this a long time ago. So I passed a class. I'm a analyst I don't work for Social Security, but it's a certification, registered Social Security administrator. Or analyst, I should say. I'm sorry. But what I do is I can figure out how much income you're going to generate from Social Security. Your full retirement age is age 67. Okay, that's your full retirement age. And we can figure out your PIA, your primary insurance amount, at age 67. And whether you're collecting based on your own work or spousal or survivor benefits or divorce, there's all these different circumstances. So age 67. However, some people want to cash in early. They want Social Security to start at age 62. You can do that, but you're going to receive less than your full retirement age. So at age 62, you're about 70% of your full retirement income, right? And every year you wait, you get more. So 70%, 75%, 80, 86%. Now up to age 67 to 100%. And then if you can wait even longer, you get you get above your full retirement age. So the top is age 70. You get 124% of your primary insurance amount at age 67. So at age 70, you get 124%.
So if you can hold out to age 70 to take it, it's probably a pretty good deal, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's different circumstances, but we're going to look at your monthly income, your expenses. If you can wait, okay, you get more money. Life expectancy is a big part of it. So if you're going to be around, I know we don't know, right?
Right.
But you can...
Only God knows.
Only God knows, right? You look at your family history or your current health status, and we can do the calculations. It's a no-cost report. It's like a 12-page report. I could run for you, no cost. Other agents throughout the country charge like $400 for it. I don't charge anything for it. So there's no cost. I'll provide this report. We look at your Social Security history, life expectancy, and when you want to draw. And it gives you a chart of how much you will collect. So that's kind of cool. It's a good tool.
Yeah.
And then I figure out either Social Security leads into Medicare. And then if there is a shortfall on your income, so suppose you get a check for Social Security and then you need X amount to live on, if there's a gap, I can help you figure out how to fill in that gap.
Sure.
The earlier, the better. I have retirement plans, fixed index annuities or life insurance. There's different ways of creating income and for safekeeping for retirement income.
Very cool. Well, that's incredible information there, Joe. And folks, that is why I wanted Joe Flores on the Radio Realtors, because when it comes to big life changes like retirement or moving, you can't afford to guess your way through it, and you definitely can't just rely on a pamphlet from the government or an 800 number. And if you or someone you love is 65 years or older and is thinking about moving, you need 2 people on your team. Me, Robert Lewis, your trusted real estate expert to help you buy and sell with confidence, and Joe Flores, your trusted Medicare and Social Security advisor to make sure your health care and your retirement income stay protected. So you can call us today at 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO, or visit radiorealtors.com. And together we can help you transition smoothly from your home to your health care to your next chapter in life. And hey, Joe, thanks once again for being on the Radio Realtors.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me. It means a lot to me, your partnership, your friendship, and we're helping people one at a time.
Absolutely. That's what we do.
Have a cup of Joe with Joe.
You got it. All right, folks. Well, if you need to get a hold of us here at the Radio Realtors, you can reach me at 833-32-RADIO, or you can live chat with a member of our team at radiorealtors.com. And that's all for this week. Take care now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Radio Realtors with Robert Lewis from eXp Realty. To reach Robert, just call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Or live chat with a member of our team anytime at radiorealtors.com. The Radio Realtors, where we make real estate real easy.